Welcome, guys, to my YouTube channel. I am Baba, B-A-B-A, but I call myself Baba Ra. Right? That is my spiritual alias. It means the son of Osiris. Sometimes, depending on where you look, it means witch. And, I chose that name because it really means the son of that ancient Egyptian god. And also, the Ra means the god of enlightenment. But anyhow, welcome to Becoming Spiritual. Here we discuss esoteric topics, we discuss esoteric knowledge, we delve headfirst into spirituality, and we discuss psychology as well. So, we firstly want to talk about the beginnings of that search for true knowledge or esoteric knowledge. Right? I mean, there becomes a point where you search externally for something greater, for something higher than self, and you become confused. So for those that seek higher knowledge and wisdom, they tend to turn towards the occult or even some form of esoteric teaching to find truth. So here, right now, we're gonna start at the beginning. When I was attending university, one thing that I saw all around the university was a torch, the emblem of a torch, and also written near it, know thyself. Now, know thyself, you will see it in most esoteric literature, in most esoteric teachings, because it is the beginning of all wisdom, to know yourself. Right? And right now, we really want to talk about how do we go about doing that. You see, we've been taught that we are somewhat supposed to be what people expect us to be, but not to be what we inherently are. So what are we? Right? To know yourself, you must find a way to introspect. The most common way to do this is to meditate. When you're able to meditate, which is not anything out of the normal as people would want to classify it as. It's really, you could wake up in the morning and just take some time for yourself, and that's a meditation. You could take a run, and while you're running, your thoughts flowing through your mind and you're clearing your mind, and that's a meditation. So it's nothing really like, oh, I have to go and do this or do that for it to become a meditation. It's just to find a way to empty your mind, that you can speak to yourself and you're not just there listening to your thoughts. So when you're able to empty your mind through whatever means you choose, then you'll be able to get into that meditative state. And in that state, you can ask yourself questions. You can reason with yourself, right? Because you might just think that, all right, so here we have a body that we are living in or through. We have a mind, a physical mind, but then there is something else. There's another aspect to you. You're a spiritual entity in this human experience on this earth. So to tap into that true nature of yourself, that is the way you go about doing it. Another thing that's quite important is your natal or your birth chart. Now, for those of you that may not have an interest in astrology as yet, it will soon become apparent, because it is through astrology that we are able to understand the cycles that we're going through here on Earth, based on what is happening in the world, and not just that, but true in ourselves as well. When you were born, the date and time that you were born is very significant to the nature of your spirit, right? Because your spirit will only enter into a body based on when the alignment is right for your kind of spirit, right? So when you're born, it's very significant, right? Numerologically and astrologically. So one of the other things that you can do is to find the birth chart. You can go on Cafe Astrology, AstroSeek, Astro.com, and you can just punch in your information, right? And when you have read through and understood the chart, you'll be quite surprised, because what you will find there is unlike anything else that anyone else can tell you about yourself. There are things there that even you know about yourself that you cannot put into words, but you will find it there. So if you are truly seeking spiritual wisdom and enlightenment and to truly know self and to find truth, because we're living in a world of illusions, then you must seek to know thyself. So meditate, find your birth chart, right? And when you find your chart now, you'll be able to connect yourself to a particular deity or a god that fits your kind of spirit, because even within your birth chart, you will find that. Now, I don't want to get too deep into it in this first lecture, but if you go for it and you said, okay, what is my ascendant? You see, your birth chart has 12 slices, or like, say, imagine a cake that has 12 pies, but the first slice rather of that pie tells you what god you're connected to. So say that you're an Aries, then you know that your god is Mars, because Mars rules Aries. And then you can choose a deity from that, figure out how to invoke or call on that particular spirit, and you develop a relationship with that spirit and work with that spirit. Right? And that will prove very beneficial to you as you walk your daily life, because that is the particular archetype of energy that's working with you. Right? So there are many deities attached to different planets, but it's just really a way for different people to connect to the same energy. Right? But first and foremost, definitely ensure you meditate daily, for at least 15 minutes, and then ensure that you find your chart, right? Your astrological chart, your natal chart. Very important. And then you will understand even your life changes, because your chart then would be fixed. It would show you the set of planets that are there when you're born. But then as the planets, as they continue to move, they will have an interaction with you. And you'll be able to see that through your chart and understand the different changes and cycles that you'll be going through. Right? So it's very profound. And this is just the beginning. Because first you must know yourself to do anything else spiritually. Right? Otherwise you will just be deceived and you will just be confused. Right? And there's many, many, many things out there, right, about different things. In the next lecture, we'll be getting into another thing, the chakras. The chakras are really like antennas to the planets that are embedded within your own spirit. So this is how those planets communicate with you as an entity, through the chakras. Now, the chakras, if any one of you guys that have watched Avatar The Last Airbender, that cartoon, that actually gives you a good depiction as to how these chakras work. You see, they are focal points of energy, they are vortices, right? They're spiraling, they're spinning, basically, right? And depending on how well your emotions are dealt with and how well you confront certain aspects of life and yourself, then they will either spin faster or slow. So as we go through traumas and various things in life, this is where the psychology chips in now. You'll find that, these things really get into your energy centers, and they either slow them down or you understand? So then it's to keep everything in balance. And when you're able to let those inner energies flow from your root, from your tailbone to the top of your head, after you'd have done various techniques to balance these chakras, then you'll be able to connect to a higher degree to that level, to the higher levels of consciousness, right? Because that inner energy has to flow, it has to move. It can't just be there, right? Otherwise, then you start getting sick in various parts of your body, and, other things start to happen, you know. So, we'll be getting deeper into that soon, but for now, if you do have a strong interest in finding truth, then you must look within, because everything externally to you is designed to confuse you. It's almost like a holographic reality, and if you don't know that, you'll discover it soon. Right, so that's that, guys. And I thank you guys for tuning in to my lectures, to this lecture. I'll definitely have more to come. I have a book out right now called Becoming Spiritual, a comprehensive guide to finding yourself. Right, and that is just amazing by itself, because a lot of the things that I'll be discussing here, they're already there, written down in both paperback and digital format. All right, but we'll definitely be getting into other things here too, and definitely delving headfirst into this thing. So yeah, guys, find yourself, look into your chart, study your chart, know what particular energy is working with you through your ascendant. And that requires your birth time, by the way. And it has to be accurate to within the hour or a hour and a half, because that ascendant changes every 2 hours. So if you don't know, you can go to your hospital that you were born and see if they have the records, or ask your parents. And if not, then there's another way to rectify it. And we'll get into all of that in future lectures. Right? And focus strongly on your moon, where that moon is positioned in your chart. Because I'm born as a Pisces, right? And my sun is in Pisces, right? So I call myself a Pisces, but in truth, the moon has a lot more influence in terms of your internal world than the sun. So you have to figure out how that moon is situated, and so on and so forth. So thank you guys for tuning in to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.